I did this just so that we could get a good generalized rundown of the different medications, the different types of injections, and I know a lot of people had a lot of questions, and I was trying to get back to everybody, and it was just overwhelming. So what I'd like to do is just talk about the different types I have. So I'm pretty sure most everyone has heard about semaglutide, and it's known to the diabetic world as Ozempic, but to like all the actresses and actors and all that do it, it's Wegovy. And it's the same thing. It's what we call a GLP, glucagon-like peptidase inhibitor. But what that long word means is it just slows down digestion. And so when it does that, it helps reduce cravings because you feel satiated, you feel fuller. So you're not wanting to put more in your mouth if you're already feeling full like that. By doing that, it also helps to, well, there's a lot of other things it does, but it helps your body be more sensitive to the insulin production. So it helps to convert glucose into energy instead of storing it as fat. And so along with helping the cravings, it also helps your body be more efficient at utilizing glucose to make energy. With that, it is designed for diabetics. However, this is the formulation that has been FDA approved for weight loss specifically, because doing the diabetic role, they found that it created a lot of weight loss. Over a year's period of time, it's about 15% of your body weight. And so that's quite a good amount, depending on where you're at and what your goal is. The difficulty with semaglutide is you don't stay at one single dose. You start at a 0.25 per week for the first 4 to 6 weeks, depending on your intestinal tract, the kinds of symptoms you get. Most people will experience a slight bit of nausea at first because you're slowing down the digestion. And so it's a little bit different. Some people can get some constipation or some diarrhea, usually resolves within the first couple of weeks. The reason we take it slow and increasing is we want your body to get used to that. If we were just to throw you on a bigger dosage, it would be kind of a shock, and your blood sugar would drop so fast too quickly, and that's not good. So we like to monitor that. So for the first 4 to 6 weeks, we start you on that dose, then we increase it. The next dose goes up another 4 to 6 weeks, depending on where you're at. If you're still having GI upset or you're feeling pretty good at that, we can keep it longer. Over the 10 weeks, that first amount that you would be getting would be at that level where, okay, pretty soon you're going to go up again. Depending on pharmaceutical companies, because they're the ones that have jacked these prices up pretty good on this, depends on the pricing I'll be able to keep it at. At some point, you do go up more to where it will cost more, but I will do my best to keep it down. I just can't guarantee what that's going to be because I don't know what they're going to charge. There was a shortage recently of semaglutide because so many people were wanting it for weight loss. Now they're doing this formulation, I should say, of it instead of the Ozempic, it's the Wegovy. So there is a better supply now. I'm not fully expecting it's going to run out because with increased demand, there's been increased production. So hopefully that stays like that. But all I can account for is what I have and what I can get right now. So that's for the first 10 weeks. After that, it will depend on where you're at. Eventually, the goal is to get you to 1.7 milligrams per week or 2.4, depending on where you're at and how you're responding to that. Depending on what the price would be, most people were paying about $1,200 a month for this out of pocket. If you went all the way up to the 2.4, it would be about $600 and something a month if it stays where it's at right now. And so that's what it would end up being. If you stayed lower and you were having good weight loss with that rate, we could keep you lower. You don't have to go all the way up. With that, there are some potential complications with semaglutide. And it doesn't happen to everybody, but I'm, as a nurse practitioner, feel obligated to tell you anything that could happen. So I want you to be fully aware of any potential complications, side effects, anything. If you or your family has a history of thyroid cancer or medullary cancer, this is not the drug for you because it can cause that if you already have it. The other thing is, if you have a history of pancreatitis, this is not a good drug for you because it can cause pancreatitis. The way it does that is when it's slowing down the absorption of food, your pancreas releases enzymes to digest the food. Sometimes that can cause it to affect the pancreas itself. And so some people have been known, they say about 5% to get pancreatitis. So that's one of the things I monitor with you on it, is to make sure you're not having any type of abdominal pain or anything that you shouldn't be getting. If you were to have that, we'd take you off it immediately because that's just not something that I want you to experience. The other thing is, if you have active gallbladder disease, if you're missing your gallbladder, that's fine. If you've never had problems with your gallbladder, that's fine. But if you have an active gallbladder issue, then we wouldn't want to do the semaglutide either, because your gallbladder and your pancreas kind of go hand in hand with how they digest foods. Okay, so those are the big concerns. The most common side effects, I do have them listed on the consent form, but you get the GI, nausea, some diarrhea, some constipation sometimes. Those are the biggest ones that people experience. And I will say that of the people that I know on semaglutide and have personally prescribed to in my facilities, the majority of them have had nausea the first few weeks. After they get used to it, they usually only have it when they jump up a pretty significant amount, and when they get to like the 1.7, they'll seem to have it a little bit again. I have had a couple of people that have had diarrhea a few times, and that's about it. Mostly it's just the nausea. So, and that does go away. I wouldn't say it's overwhelming, depending on who you are, but the people I've had, it's not overwhelming. It's just enough that, you know, wouldn't make you want to eat anyway. So it's doing its job. So that is one of the ways that it also helps with cravings. Semaglutide helps with cravings because it does slow you down in your digestive system, makes you feel fuller. So you're not going to be craving the foods as much. That's semaglutide. I'd always recommend anyone, like if you have primary care that you see regularly, ask them how they feel about this. I don't want to interfere with anybody's care with their primary. So anyone that's talked to me about it, I've told them check with your PCP. And a lot of them have already been prescribed it, but they just haven't gotten it yet, or they couldn't afford it, or having to drive too far to get it. Then what I'll do is I'll talk about the MIC and the lipostat ones. Those are actually like my favorite because it's all natural. And it's basically, you've got, the MIC stands for methionine and inositol. It's a sugar that our body has. And then you've got the choline and then the B12, which is a cyanocobalamin. And what those do, methionine is an amino acid that it's an essential one, meaning we get it from foods. The inositol is a sugar that our body has. It doesn't act the way that you would think a sugar would. It doesn't raise your glucose levels. It actually helps your body to regulate glucose levels and helps your body with the insulin. So it is used to help convert sugars and foods into energy. Then you've got your B vitamins. They do the same thing. They help with increased red blood cell production, which increases oxygenation, which increases functioning of muscles, brain, everything, digestion. But they also help convert food into energy by helping it to be metabolized. So those act in combination. That's just the MIC. There's different strengths of the MIC injections. The lipostat is basically the MIC injections with B6 added to it. And the B6, it helps even more with fat metabolism and energy conversion. They're the same price. With those natural ones, you're gonna have fewer side effects. They take about 3 weeks to build up in your body. The energy boost that you get from it is almost immediate. I've given them to some of the people at work, and I've had girls come in and go, I want what she had. Because by the end of the day, the B12 and the other B vitamins, you're already feeling some of that energy, which is one of the ways that it helps you convert your food and the calories and stuff into energy. You get the energy boost. The weight loss, they state, and statistics have shown it, I've done a lot of research on this, 2 to 4 pounds per week, starting about week 3. And that's if you're doing like the 1 injection a week. Some people like to start off by getting 2 injections the first week. You don't have to. You can stay at the 1 injection. But that's what it ends up being, is about 2 to 4 pounds per week, starting about week 3. And it helps increase energy, helps with the mental fog a lot of people get, any types of depression, it helps with that. The side effects of it are not as drastic because it's all things that we should have anyway from our foods. The ones that I've listed are the biggest ones that are most common, and it can increase your heart rate. You get the boost of energy, you can get a little bit of increased heart rate. You shouldn't worry about your heart's gonna blow out of your chest, but if you have cardiovascular disease, if you have cardiovascular disease where you already have a high heart rate, then we would wanna monitor that. The other thing that it can do, it can cause some nausea occasionally. Some people might get that. I don't know anyone that's gotten it, but it's potential. And then some have reported diarrhea or constipation, but again, minimal. But this is just kind of like anything else. If it can happen, it needs to be listed so you're aware that it could happen. And so you don't get the issues with the pancreas with this. You don't get the issues with any thyroid disease and stuff like that. A lot of people ask if you can take the MIC injections if you're on phentermine. I've had that question asked. I don't know if anyone in here is, but I've had people that have asked if they can. You can, as long as it's regulated. As far as some people have asked, can we take it with the semaglutide? Yes, you can. And it increases the effect of weight loss. Some compounding agencies have added B12 to the semaglutide. So if you didn't want the MIC, the full-on injections, but you wanted the semaglutide and a B12 to help with energy, that can be done as well. So that's something different I can actually formulate to you personally. But you can combine both of them, but you don't have to. You don't have to do that. The weight loss is pretty efficient. It's a very effective product. And then when you get to your weight loss goal, then you just do a maintenance. You can drop down to the lower dosing of the MIC or just do it once every 2 weeks. It's not a problem to do that at all. And so it will help you maintain energy and help you maintain that weight loss once you've gotten to that point. The one thing I've had asked, which I've said a few times, I can't tell you which is best for you. I can tell you if you have these things, I would recommend against. So again, cardiovascular disease where you have like really high heart rate all the time, then I would say we might want to monitor the MIC or maybe do the lower dosing of it. If you've got the pancreatitis, gallbladder disease, or thyroid cancer in your family history, then definitely not the semaglutide. Other than that, it's personal preference. It's really what you want to do. The MIC injections are cheaper. It's not going to increase because we don't go up in dosing. The semaglutide, for the first 10 weeks, I can keep it at that price after that. Hopefully it'll stay pretty low, but I can't guarantee it after that point. It just depends on pharmaceuticals and how much they're going to be selling it for. I've ordered a lot to try to get it in ahead of time so I can keep it for a while, but that really all depends on what they say and what they start selling it as. So I hope that answers that. But as far as the MIC injections, the lipostat has the extra in it that helps you with increased metabolism and fat burning. These are all called lipotropics, the MIC injections, because like you think liposuction, that's for fat, the adipose tissue and that lipo portion, it burns that. It helps convert that and get rid of it. That's why they're called lipotropics. And so anywhere you look, and I always recommend everybody do research. I mean, don't just take my word for it. You look it up, research it, definitely look into it, and see what other places and other people have to say about it. I want you to make a really, really, really good, educated, informed decision. I'm going to always be upfront and honest with it. If I hear any more studies, if anything comes out, then I would tell you, hey, But so far, I've not had anything negative on the MIC injections at all, or the lipostat. These have been things that you'll see more like women's health or weight loss centers and stuff will do these. And it's kind of like everything else until people get wind of it. It's kind of like a specialty market. But now with all the compounding pharmacies, it's out there, like more people can get it. So providers of all sorts can order these now and get them, which is wonderful because you don't have to travel to just a specialist 2 hours away to get it. These have been around for a long time. Ozempic has actually been used for a long time. For the diabetic market, it wasn't until recently that all the actors and actresses started buying it to lose weight that it actually had a shortage. And so there was a while that I couldn't get it for my diabetic patients. Yeah, not fun. And so that's when they went and modified this formulation to Wegovy, or Wegovy, how are you going to say it? So it's the same semaglutide, slightly different formulation, but it still acts the same. But it's specialized for weight loss. So it still acts the same. If you start on the semaglutide and you find this is not working, or I'm just too sick, and we prolong the increase and it still just isn't doing well, then we'll change you over to the other ones if you want to do that. So I've done a lot of research, and they tell you the same thing. We can't say which is best because everybody's different. It could be great for this person and be even better for you. They're both effective at weight loss. It just depends on you. The other thing, and I'm very, very, very strong on this, accountability. Yeah. If you're doing this, it's not a magic miracle pill. You've also got to be doing your part, making sure that you're trying to work hard on eating right, getting your exercise. I know it's coming up to winter months. It's going to be effective. You're still going to lose weight with them. But how much and the success of it is based on you too. You've got to combine it with all of that. And so I'm one of those, I really like to make sure that, hey, are you doing it? Are you being good with this? Are you taking it the right way? So there's different ways we can manage it. You can come to me every week and I'll do the injection. I don't mind doing that. If you're comfortable or have someone that can do it for you, then I can pre-fill them for 4 weeks at a time. At that 4 week, I'd like to see you. We can weigh you, we can see how you're doing. I like the face-to-face so I can ask questions. And you can't lie to me. So I'll know, how are you doing? Is this working for you? And I don't want anybody to get stuck in something where they feel it's not effective and just not want to say something. So I like the 4 week mark, we can follow up. I'm also going to be, hey, you doing what, eating? You getting some exercise? Because that's how I am. I kind of want to make sure that if you're investing money in this and into your health, that I'm helping you. I think sometimes that accountability is just as important. I do want to make sure I'm trying to help you as best as possible. So you can either see me every week, and I don't charge extra to stab you. I love doing it. And one of the things I recommend too, everybody plateaus. If you've had the weight loss thing, you're gonna know that at some point we plateau. I recommend at that point, you go by inches, not pounds. It's a slower process. Like with the Ozempic, it says 15% of your body weight over a year. And so there's no guarantee of how much you're gonna lose at each, increase or even every week. I'm giving you the averages, but you're individualized. And so, but the one thing that is consistent with everybody that's losing is the better they do with their diet and their lifestyle changes and the injections, the better they do overall. And that's just in general. I always encourage lifestyle changes in addition to that because that's lifelong. The good thing is, either one of these you can continue taking. If you did the MIC, even if you did the Semaglutide for a while and you got down to a certain point and then you wanted to go to the more natural, those you can take for a lifetime. They're not gonna hurt you. They're only gonna be good for you. The one thing I do want, like you guys already have, and anybody listening, I want this, a questionnaire for the health. I wanna make sure, because I am, like I said, I'm a nurse practitioner, I take this very seriously. I want to help everybody meet their goals, but I'm not gonna do it unsafely. If it's something that I think that it is not gonna be good for you, I'm gonna be very honest with you, and I would rather lose money and you go somewhere else than me jeopardize your health. And so there may be a ton of questions. If you don't feel comfortable answering some of them, just scratch through them. I really want the health stuff. I already have product in. I get the rest of it in tonight. If there's things you wanna talk about privately, definitely we can do that. What I prefer to do is set up a time to get with you. If you're wanting to start like tonight, I'm good with that. If you wanna start tonight, I'm fine with that. I do have stuff with me. You wanna think about it, go think about it. Take your questionnaire, you can fill it out, just call me. I'll give you each a card, and then we'll set up a time. I'm here all day on Fridays because I work full-time in Harrison Monday through Thursday. But I do come and I'll meet people in the evenings, and then on the weekends I'm fine with that. We can just schedule the time. And so I try to be pretty flexible and accommodate as best I can. I'm here.
In this salon?
In this salon, yeah.
okay.
Because I do Botox, I do all that, I do the fillers, and this is just a branch of it. What my goal is, and I've been saying this I want to get more into women's health. I can get hormone things, I can get testosterone, I can do testosterone pellets, I can do all that, but I'm trying to do it in bite-sized chunks, and it's hard, because I'm one of those, I want to run with it. But I don't want to start full-on promoting things that I can't meet the needs. And so this seemed to be one of the most important things. I've had a lot of people ask me about weight loss stuff. And so I'm doing the Botox, the filler, and I've got my laser hair removal, tattoo removal, and skin resurfacing stuff now. So I'm here. I have a little room right now. We're gonna be working on building a little bit bigger one, but I wanna stay here. I love this, and it's been great. I know so many women that are struggling with it, and we're coming up on the holidays, and that's a hard time for everybody. And the weather's cold, and we stay inside, and then we have all these medications we're on, and so I know the MIC injections are really good for that. So I'm like, I wanna offer to try to help everybody. So eventually, I do want to get more into the hormone therapy, but I know that if we can manage this, then we can definitely get you on the right. And boy, who doesn't feel better when they're at a good weight? If anybody's wanting to start tonight, just let me know. I do have the stuff with me. I'm fine doing that. If you want to wait, read through this, try to decide what you want to do, I'm good with that. I don't want to push anybody. I just want to offer it. But if you still need to think about which route you want to go, then just think about it, shoot me a text, let me know, and we'll just set up a time and we'll start.